The modern youth facing realities of life. Honesty. The sun had just dipped behind the towers of Johannesburg, painting the sky gold and charcoal. Inside a community hall in Soweto, the youth of the city gathered for an evening dialogue titled Love, Law, and Culture in the Modern World. Plastic chairs scraped against the floor, laughter mixed with anticipation. The walls were decorated with posters of African couples, some smiling, others arguing. At the front sat Aunt Nomvula, the moderator, a graceful woman in her late 50s, wrapped in a bright yellow headscarf. Her calm presence commanded attention without raising her voice. She looked at the youth before her, bright, restless, opinionated. "Tonight," she said, "we speak of love. Not the one in songs or on Instagram, but the one that joins families, the one that binds ancestors, the one that breaks when pride enters the door." Applause rippled through the hall. She introduced the guests. Advocate Cazweo, a sharp-minded legal specialist known for simplifying complex marriage laws. Mkhulu Dlamini, a traditional healer and spiritual elder whose deep baritone could silence a crowd. And seated among the youth were Zanil, 29, a marketing executive, living with her partner of 5 years. Sayabonga, her partner, confident, opinionated, tired of being told he must pay to love. Emily, a romantic teacher who still believed in fairy tales and sacred unions. Lebo, divorced and wary of ever marrying again. Kobelo, a law student with cynicism sharper than his suits. The discussion began. Chapter 1, We Love Each Other. Why must we pay? Zanil was the first to speak. I love Sayabonga. We live together, we share everything. But every time my uncles visit, they remind him, "You haven't paid Lobolo. You are not a husband." I don't understand. Are we not already building a life together? Sayabonga straightened his shoulders. Exactly. We share rent, food, bills. I don't need to prove my love with cows or money. Those were for the old days. The hall murmured, half in agreement, half in disapproval. Mkhulu Dlamini's eyes glimmered under the dim light. My son, he said slowly, do you know what Lobolo truly means? It's a transaction, Mkhulu. It's paying for a woman, Sayabonga replied bluntly. Mkhulu smiled softly. That is what those who forgot its meaning say. In our ancestors' time, Lobolo was not a sale. It was a conversation between families. It was a prayer performed in the language of cattle and respect. When you bring Lobolo, you are not buying love, you are building a bridge between spirits. Without that bridge, your marriage may walk on air, but not on soil. The hall fell quiet. Even Sayabonga lowered his gaze. Chapter 2, Cohabitation is marriage, isn't it? Kobelo, the law student, raised his hand. But Mkhulu, with respect, in this modern age, people live together for years. Some even raise children. The Constitution protects equality and freedom of choice. Isn't that enough? Advocate Cazweo leaned forward. Legally, no. Cohabitation is not marriage. You can share a bed for 20 years, but if you never sign a marriage certificate or complete cultural rites, the law sees you as partners, not spouses. When one dies, the other cannot inherit. When you separate, there's no automatic right to property. The law protects paper, not pillow talk. The youth murmured. Emily looked confused. But that feels unfair. What about love? Love is emotional, said the advocate gently. Law is factual. You need both for stability. Mkhulu Dlamini nodded. And in the spirit world, it is the same. Without introducing your union to the ancestors, you are like tenants living in a house without permission. You may enjoy it for a while, but the foundation is weak. Chapter 3, When Love Breaks, Who Owns What? Lebo, the divorced woman, sighed heavily. I lived with a man for 10 years. We had a house, 2 cars, and a child. When we separated, everything was in his name. I walked away with a suitcase and my son's clothes. Silence filled the room. Advocate Cosweo clasped his hands. That is the tragedy we see every day. The law recognizes civil marriage and customary marriage, both protect you. But cohabitation? It protects no one. It leaves women vulnerable and men unaccountable. Zaniel's eyes softened. I never thought about it like that. I thought living together was progress, freedom. Freedom without protection is exposure, said the advocate. Mkhulu added quietly. Even the ancestors protect what is respected. Love that hides from culture hides from blessing. Chapter 4, Modern Marriage and the Fear of Divorce. Kobelo leaned back. But advocate, even with papers, people suffer. Divorce is expensive, and people end up enemies. Emily nodded. My aunt's divorce destroyed our family. Maybe it's safer to just stay together without marriage. Advocate Cosweo smiled gently. The problem isn't marriage. It's entering marriage without preparation. You train to drive a car but not to build a home. That's why we crash. Mkhulu Dlamini's deep voice rolled like thunder. Marriage is not a cage. It is a covenant. Divorce hurts when the covenant is made without understanding. Aunt Nomvula finally spoke. Love is not meant to survive on feelings. It must be built on principles, truth, patience, and honesty. Chapter 5, 2 Worlds, 1 Truth. The night was almost over. The city outside had gone quiet, but inside the hall, hearts were still open. Advocate Cosweo rose first. Young people, understand this. Register your marriages, legally or traditionally. Protect each other with honesty and documentation. When you separate, let it be in dignity, not war. Then Mkhulu Dlamini stood beside him. And spiritually, never forget the roots of love. Before you share a bed, share a prayer. Remember, before you share a bed, share a prayer. Marriage is a union between the couple, God, the ancestors, and both living families.